to talk about this Baylor North Carolina game, guys. We got to get there because we got about 5 minutes until the break. So,
this was insane. No,
I don't even know where to start.
I was watching this game while I was eating some buffalo wings here in Buffalo at a bar, and I was just like, "This is one of the greatest games I've ever seen." Now, one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen. How you throw Brady Manick out for that play is unconscionable. I don't understand it at all. I think it's one of the worst calls ever that they throw him out of that game, and it completely changes the whole complexion of that game. And again, Baylor, give him a ton of credit because Scott Drew's down 2 guys. Adam Flagler's hurt and coming in. Then he looked like he got concussed at the end of the game. They come all the way back from 25 down, and we think Carolina's done when it goes to overtime. We really do.
I was like, this. They're shot. They're shot.
Yeah, who would have bet on Carolina going into overtime?
Nobody, because they're the team we thought was mentally weak. And Baylor's the team that we think is all about culture and toughness right now. But I give Carolina, Hubert Davis, and their players a ton of credit. Caleb Love fouled out. Manick's gone. Man, RJ Davis just makes big time plays, doesn't he?
He was so good. He was. Yes. I hope he comes back again next year because I think he's one of those guys like RJ Davis, Trey Alexander. They've built enough of a name for themselves in March where they could be like I'm talking like potentially the face of the sport if he comes back and has that kind of a season. I want to ask you.
Let me just say one quick point to North Carolina because this is if you played against Baylor and this is Chacha. I understand Chacha was out and I understand Baylor's beat up, but the way people have talked about North Carolina this year, the one stat resonates for me. Okay, they're 9 for 18 from 3, 50%. When you out rebound Baylor by almost 10 rebounds,
yeah. You're not weak. Man. You're tough. Tough.
You got some shit to you. And I think Carolina showed that. They showed that.
Steve can't say the word. He can't swear out here. He can't do it. It's got to spell.
I'm not a big swear. But,
but he's not going to come out here and talk about how Dagan is letting his nuts hang out here, right?
Steve, how many times on average through in a season, how many times would you use a profanity? About?
Man, a minimum amount. Not many.
10? 10?
Nah, probably in 20.
50,
probably.
50,
yeah.
50,
15,
100,
20. Yeah. Not
100, 200?
Not 100. Not 100. Not 100.
All right. Let me ask you this. How many times?
That's the one thing about Carolina, man. They got some, they proved everybody wrong.
Yeah.
No, they did. They did. And they have for the last week. Like, that's the thing about them. They've turned a corner a little bit. And I know that they got smacked by Virginia Tech in the quarterfinals of the ACC tournament. But the way that they've been able to find a way to consistently fight. Like, to me, guys, the biggest thing with them is you could punch them in the mouth and they would fold. And they did not fold today. And you know who they had on the floor? They had like 3 guys on the floor that I never heard of, like Puff Johnson. How many times has Puff Johnson played? They had some guy named like Styles.
Yeah, Dontrell Styles. Yeah.
Did you know he was a thing?
Yeah.
Bro, did you know that? Yeah. Did you know that guy was the thing? I had no idea that guy was.
When you talk them, you've got your 4 or 5 guys you're talking about with Carolina. But I tell you what helps this team. And when you criticize coaches, you got to give them their praise too. I think Hubert Davis's demeanor.
Hell yeah.
His demeanor is a big reason why North Carolina's in the Sweet 16. Not too high, not too low. He's been through it. And the thing that resonates with me too is like if you go back. When's the last time Carolina in the 8-9 game had made it to the Sweet 16? When Hubert Davis and Rick Fox were playing and they beat Oklahoma.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
And so, like, I'm really happy for him. I've heard Hubert speak at an FCA. He's the real deal. And it is hard in the position he stepped into. You were replacing an icon at one of the best 2-3 jobs in the country. And he's got Carolina back where they're supposed to be.
Yep. Yeah. Preach, man.
Hey,
exactly right.
Steve, would you want Roy Williams is always around and he was like sitting right behind the bench, I think again tonight. He's been in a lot of games. Like, would you want that if you're Hubert Davis? I'd almost be like, can you sit upstairs so I don't have to turn around and see you?
Go to the suite.
Right?
I think when I first made NCAA tournament, I invited Billy Kennedy because I knew what he meant to me. to come to the game.
Yep.
But I understand when it's there all the time, it's kind of like, you know,
little more.
But I think knowing Roy, I don't really know Roy, but just knowing his appreciation and love for North Carolina.
Yeah.
He's just there, man. I know Caleb
as a fan.
Yeah,
he's just there as a fan supporting.
But what a job by Hubert and his group. And Brady Manick, I know him from playing from Oklahoma. The skill level and ability to shoot is off the charts. Baycott, I mean, and just the way you saw those locker room scenes with Hubert and Baycott and those guys, Carolina, man, that UCLA game is going to be really, really interesting. I think UCLA is coming in with a lot of momentum. This is probably two of the hotter teams playing right now in college basketball.
Yeah, real quick, let me ask you guys this. This is I think the first time since there's been one time, I think it was 2015 Duke, that the last time that a national champion had made it to the Sweet 16, the year after they won the title. What put a bow on this Baylor season, Goodman?
Oh my God. Like Scott Drew, like ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous. Again, just the fact that they were number one in the country for more than a month this year after losing 4 starters from a national title team in Baylor in Waco. Like, if we had ever said that 10 years ago, Steve, what would we have said? Seriously, like, no way, like April Fools, no chance.
Yeah. Yep. And you got to remember with the injuries, right? You had Kenjo had one, Flagler had one, Chambo Chachua hurt his knee. Cryer missed for basically the last 6 weeks of the season, and no one talks about it. Langston Love tore his ACL before the season started, and he didn't even play.
And this game tonight was really like a synopsis of their whole season. You know, nothing's going right, but they kept coming. They're down 25.
I know. They came all the way back.
25.
All the way back.
And
Insane.
they come back.
Yes.
But in overtime, man, those first couple possessions are crucial. Carolina got up 4 right away, 84-80. And I think that was
it Styles? I think it was Styles that hit that first big three. That really, it looked like it settled everything down because it gave him a 3-point lead and it was like, okay, look, we got this.